order. And roll call, but the roll call showed that everybody except any remaining issues and other members of the board are also joining us. Thank you. Yeah. To approve the agenda. Especially on finance. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Public participation. Members of the public and staff may bring to the committee's attention. What's that? Members of the public and staff may bring to the committee's attention information, ideas, or matters of concern related to all duties and responsibilities of this committee. This committee will not allow comments regarding specific staff members or personal experiences. Time for individual remarks will be apportioned according to the number of speakers and will be limited to 5 minutes per speaker unless extended by the chair. And if this category of public who wishes to speak. Now we move on to discussions and next steps. Classroom celebrations.
I think that is related to cupcakes and birthdays. So last year we said that this year we would start with the cupcakes, and we had clarified that they need to be store-bought so we can see the ingredients on there. And then, because we met during the summer, we were kind of brainstorming different things. We reached out to Becky Tyrell, who was nice enough to offer allergen-free, dairy-free, and nut-free, and free, whatever you have, gluten-free options. So for parents who just don't want to go, or they think ahead and they know they're not going to be able to, they can just order it and they can do that as an option. Or they can do the store. They can do either way.
Oh, so they can order directly from the school.
Yep.
24 cupcakes.
Yep. It won't be cupcakes.
Or
whatever's on that list. I think a lot of those were like frozen treats.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Which kids really like also. And then it's safe. Then you don't have to look at the ingredients or whatever it is. It just made it a lot easier. A lot of districts just do that. But we still thought, why not just give the option? Give us just something to eat. Exactly. So we'll put that on. They sent out something that how to clarify and to add options. There is a cost to that. I usually per pack of 24 17 you're getting, and then over time, if they have some that are extras, and they'll share with the next person. You end up with somebody's bought something, and then it was gluten-free, but it wasn't nut-free, or it was gluten-free, dairy-free, but it wasn't whatever else. Yeah, so it just gives that extra. So I think all the elementary principals are going to have another option. We have allergies, and they're not.
Did that feel right to parents so they're aware?
That was my understanding that all the principals had sent that out. I didn't finish it. Last week, so maybe one at the end of the week. Two of our principals ill, so they may need to process. So maybe not be able to do that. But it's coming. That's it.
That's not, as long as it's going out to parents, because I know that parent will reach out to me. It's not really satisfied.
And I can probably manage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that was for our last, because this people are our last stuff.
Right, but they had just created it, so there may have been a time between illness and getting that. because we want to make sure we were right.
I just thought that it was going to be communicated with the school year start of the school year, so it's in place.
I think they may have some to that, so I think for some folks, there was, especially at the 8th grade, they had sent out, there may be some options, some down place, so they had to address that during their practice.
Thank you. Thank you.
Discussion? Okay. I know you're all waiting to get to the discussion. Before we do that, I was the agenda without adding the school report that normally goes on the agenda when we are in the building. So just add that myself. It's great if you want to throw things. We can do it legitimately if we want to take more time. So we're not going to do that. Instead, I would just report, I would start, and then I would see if there was to talk about the school, but I had the pleasure of a very quick walk through the building Tuesday morning, just before the Alliance visit. And it's always a pleasure to go through the school. Just happy kids. Walk into the classrooms and doing things and have a good time. Certainly not stifled in any way. The fact that they're in a seat doesn't mean that they are just kids. Anyway, Peter, would you like to say anything?
I just wanted to hop on for a minute and welcome everybody. Wish I was there with you in person, but I hold for the holiday today. So welcome to the school. Thank you for your visit the other day. It was great to show you around, and always makes me proud to share all of the great things that are happening in our school. And I got to do that a couple of times on the same day, which was nice. So I'm going to leave you in the more than capable hands of our assistant principal, Miss Pei. I don't know if she has a few words to say, and then I'm going to sign off.
Well, thank you for being here tonight.
We don't want you to stay on here or a holiday.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to sign off. But if anybody has questions, you know where to find me, usually there.
Thank you.
Well, I'm going to share a little bit. I retired to Mr. Visit. They're very proud of the school and how we're getting off to such a great start. It really feels like things are feeling a little bit more back to normal. We had a great welcome back night with so many families, and it starts to feel like we can plan and predict some of those things. We're planning some celebrations coming up. We're going to have our fall harvest festival, this is our second year doing that. We have some teachers who organize moving some of the older gardens that were at East School down here and adding to them. So that's been really wonderful. A huge commitment on the time of the teachers and families who volunteer for the summer to water our garden. So we're going to have a harvest festival coming up, and it's going to be during the school day, and we're going to celebrate just writing, reading activities related to that math activity related to that. We're excited about that. And I just want to take a moment to thank the board for your continued support for a couple of things that have been really critical for us. Part of the reason I think we've been off to such a strong start is that we have this amazing behavior team that's really allowed us to focus on providing behavior supports and positive enforcement to all of our students. So tier 1 support. So we've been able to be really proactive with students that we knew from last year might have some difficulties and prevent some escalating behavior. So I'm just really grateful to have that team here because it's made a huge difference for us. And then also the interventionists that we have that are supporting our students. We have students who are in intervention. We're able to start our students that we're most concerned about right off at the start of the year. They've also been helping the teachers with some of the testing that can be burdensome at the beginning of the year and take teachers away from establishing an attachment environment or constructing from the start. So they've been really critical also in getting us off to a really smooth start. And some of the, I just want to report that some of the things that we did last year, we talked about, with Andrew's leadership around, really having targeted supports for our students and the foundational literacy skills, I think have really paid off. We saw them being in their growth last spring, but we just finished our first all round of testing. And I thought it was worth sharing with you guys that those gains that we saw at the end of last year really carried into the fall. So our last year's kindergartners who are starting this year, we did what we call our fitness test, which is like kind of our most basic products test. Last year at the beginning of the year, our first graders had for 50% of our kids needed intensive support. That's the lowest score you get. So when we started the year last year, 50% of our kids did. This year, our incoming kindergartners, we've reached that down to 30. So that's what we've made and seen over the year. For our second graders, last year we had 56% of our kids were in that intensive support range. This year it's 31%. So our first graders from last year, huge growth that they've maintained. And our second graders from last year, who are really our most COVID impacted students, they also made things last year. We started with our graders 40% of incentive, and this year 32%. We're really targeting that for intervention. So I just think you guys should know that just most choices and decisions can really have huge impact on the outcome.
Questions, comments?
Just a question, not more of an observation. I'm curious for when we meet with the other schools, if they're also experiencing similar, really with interventionists and other teams that are brought out. I hope that they are, yes, are so yeah, we're very good. That's pretty cool. Just all the feedback from the school year has been so yeah, it's great. Yeah. But even before even pre-COVID, I mean, I can't remember pre-COVID. I mean, can't run, really, where they, our openings were smooth, I'm sure, but so much, I think over the last couple of years, we've had so much time to focus on things, the social emotional learning, things like that. And, I feel like it's really impacted the kids now. For this year, I feel like I'm seeing some results.
Share news on the state while and will probably really and then when all the strategies are shown in district assessment, which we will bring forward, that just the window extended last week, and so we'll bring that next one. I just
One of the things that Peter mentioned when I was going through the building is the number of new teachers in this building, and how well that's working out. It's very, it's kind of a whole process between and anyone else who was involved in hiring, which will also include building. Very happy with the outcome of that so far, so good. We did mention that.
even if the ones the visit right after John's visit, and I'll talk more about that later. But our alliance rep noted that our senior teachers, you can tell they're going to use, they're using great strategy.
Anything else? Now we are doing uniforms. So you can walk us through this.
Sure. Yeah, it's a good job there, it's a good job and basically what we did every fall is like on this thing, it goes out to the student version there, and it writes down K-12, so the football is serving, families are starting to serve, and all this happening. So when we put together this, how we decided to do, I started to send it prior to the meeting, but we were still waiting for families to respond and staff to respond, so we have a better idea. So there was a survey question on the family survey and the staff survey. The question read that we believe that we feel that school uniforms would be a benefit to the children. And we could walk through that. And if you have a question, basically the first slide is a summary.
it was all done, and then there are pie graphs that you can actually see the breakdown of strongly agrees on disagree. We kind of lumped it together in summary. So we just look at that table. The first couple of columns, so district wide, so you see how we put this together. So 47.4% of the families who responded either strongly agree or agree that school uniforms would be beneficial, and that's a K-12 book. 52.6% strongly agree or strongly disagree. And then the staff of the next two columns, and then pull it out by grade end. So you can see that in elementary, interesting, 51.3% thought yes, parents. 6 through 8, 5%, and then on the high school, we saw a little bit of a shift. Didn't feel that it was so necessary to us in terms of parents. Staff, however, have a different perspective. But I think it's interesting. I'm sorry. No, I don't want to read it all to you. But we can go through and you can read pie charts, which is kind of gives you. It's all really it's correct. It's almost not just movement display from 4 years. It's a lot of right. And I think that goes to what we talked about last month. One of the observations I had, and I think we definitely need to talk about it. There are benefits and not so much benefits. There's so many different factors to take into consideration. There's different studies that show that dress code doesn't necessarily mean better grades, better performance. Dress code, I mean, I think they're two different things. And maybe it's something that we need to look at. Possibly, and I think you talked about, we did talk about it, we have a policy on dress code, or looking at what the schools have to place and enforcing that. Really enforcing the policy. Just to clarify, this was about school uniforms, not about dress code. Right, no, I agree, but I think from our perspective, we need to talk about dress code first, before we can even get into who would pay for these. There's so many different things. We're not in a community where people have the luxury of just being able to go out and buy food. You can't buy those at the shop, and you can, because it's a different area. It's respectful of, there's just so many factors. And I was surprised to agree to do what I would have thought is necessarily the best option. Probably the research. Yes, yeah. Yeah, I think it depends on what lens we're looking at. That's a little bit different, sure. Just making sure instead of discipline referrals and that's very the research really does. Right. They don't know how kids to express themselves, which I understand. Yeah. That's a double sword. But I think there's a lot more to it than just saying we are going to.
You've been interested in the idea of uniforms too, when they had the areas.
I agree with you. So from my perspective, I just want them to cover up. That's most appropriately, so I think it's probably for dress code policy and enforcement at the upper levels. And making a better policy that's easier for it to be enforced, not as they against it. And then, down the road, works, either one, but right now, it's too much to take on.
Okay, so you think it would be fair to say that there's no distinct pressure for uniforms or against them for that matter? A fair way to leave this. Thank you, the staff. Yes.
I think it's interesting to know that 66.3% of the staff at the middle school strongly agree or agree that
So that's obviously an issue that a lot of teachers there see to address it.
Not being followed. That have not, and at high school. Not that, I'm not saying that we the administrators. Right. This is what they're thinking.
Yeah, and it must be on the side. Yes, there's, there are devices for which we want to have some presentations that are outlined on this. But our actually for the policy and the rest of it. This is extremely big, and it really doesn't say anything. So that, is that my questions? And the rest of them,
I have it right here.
because, you know, we have a crosswalk that we're trying to follow, but that's what we want there. Yes. Yeah.
I found
Yep, yeah. So within the next.
and it hasn't been looked at since 2000.
Right, and it was very children, right, they know you can use small, right, yes. Yeah.
There was an update into it, we made the dates. But that one was the policy change, we moved over to ship.
Right, it was a shift just because it's on the.
Yeah, some of them.
Yep,
Just for that instead.
yep, I actually, policy today, I have every policy. Yeah, it's, we don't have to make, three, but it's not being recorded in the policy. Their house, policy, board level, the building side of the policy. So our board policy is that the building supports the policy that we have. Which we don't have. We need to go fresh. Yeah, the movie.
So we review any of it. We're looking at something, yeah.
Well, it's something on the books right now, that right, I didn't see it, now, because that's something right, it's something, giving someone something, giving for what's on the books, or may not. May not be yours.
Yeah, we'll give you.
We continue. OTL report, 2022 SB.
Great, so, a couple of weeks ago, we passed upon this year, and shared this, a similar presentation with them, so we pulled together and really worked this content. Pull this all together for us, so it's just kind of an abbreviated version. As I said a minute ago, we don't yet have an opportunity yet to decide the date and parking numbers of all our. So that will be next. This is the snapshot of what was tested in the spring of this past spring. So the Smart Mountains also known as previously this kind of capacity test. So that's the assessment. And then you see also in this packet is the loss rates. And these kind of part of the data. So, we thought it would be helpful, we promised to keep this really brief, but it's important to really provide a little bit of background information on this. So. Oh, okay. So you want, so yeah, so the next generation accountability system is something that this is, it's kind of like a school work hard, that's that's one of these. I don't want to lead to definitions, we can refer back to that, but essentially the measures are, so where do they look at those? Right, we've heard a lot about that. What percentages do they that all cases of law enforcement achievement, what percentage of our kids have school proficient or below proficient, or what's considered exceeded that. Well, the word proficient over the years, I feel has kind of gotten better. Because when I do the proficient, we have the skills.
you're published, something you really put out. But when it comes to state assessments, publishing is kind of so there is that other way of when you're exceeding published, exceeding the top notch. And then there's growth rate. We have a little video we're gonna ask you to watch, 2-minute video. Guy in the state who's taking these excellent, great job of exceeding growth rate and the percentage of the target achieved. And then behind these, there's a category that see Alzheimer's needs and one or more of so each follows that category. You're an English learner, student with disability, and or student who's helping careers as well. So one or more of those three, and you fall into this category of high needs. And districts are looked at in terms of high needs and one of them is slots. Next slide.
I think it's under it. So, share some. Yeah. So, in addition to the achievement or efficiency measure, there are 2 growth measures that we look at. There is the growth rate. So for each student in 4th through 8th grade, they are expected to achieve a certain amount of points in the year prior. So a 3rd grader gets a certain score in 3rd grade, but it has this algorithm, that says the student should grow by losing points in 4th grade. And so the growth rate measure tells us whether we met their target or we didn't. It's that simple. Yes. However, the percentage of target achieved, if a student doesn't quite meet their target, they still get some credit for any growth. So say for example, a student in 3rd grade have 50 and they're supposed to grow to 100 in the 4th grade. If they only grew to 80, the student would receive some credit for growing. However, the student who in 4th grade was supposed to grow to 100, but they scored at 120, they would get even more points for that particular study. So they go beyond their target. So we
while Andrew's doing that, I just want to add, and I think this will come up on the next slide. The state actually places more emphasis on the percentage of the student. So they're more concerned with the role than they are with that binary. Did you hit it or they're more, which is
this is an example of what the report card looks like. And this is all publicly available on this website. It's the website. And we can see that the report card is comprised of all different indicators. And what I wanted to show you is that 55% of our total score, 55% was derived from just 2 of the 12 indicators. Well, a lot. And those 2 indicators are derived from students' performance as part of ours on the next generation science assessment, the SAT in grade 11, our alternative assessment, which is by some of our students who are with some special inclusion and then also the alternative system in the science. So for 12 years, this is a vision that is more than half. And I also want to point out that when we look at just indicator one, indicator one is broken into 4 5 parts. That is focused just on that achievement. How many students scored at level 3 or 4? So 21% is that. Whereas indicator 2 is focused on that growth, that's 34%. And it's not the growth rate, whether we got it or we did not, it's the average percent of the achievement. So that score is reported here on the report cards.
That's okay. That's the way we look at our school. Teachers are setting goals for the year for the class, for their students. It's all based on goals. It's not that we love our departments to achieve all of them. But they're all starting, they're all coming at a different level, different place. So realistically, we're setting the goal for our students.
So we're going to move forward to look at the individual subject areas. For first, we're going to present the achievement, followed by the information on growth. And I think that we will achieve here for us to understand some of the information. We looked up the data in 2 ways. We wanted to further see how do we grow in comparison to last year, 21-22. But we also want to compare the data with these pre-pandemic numbers. So we also looked at 2018. So we see a little arrow here. I think it's really talking better than we were doing before. And we'll see the cases were actually doing better than we were pre-pandemic. There's a yellow arrow. We're doing better than last year, but not as well as we were pre-pandemic. And then the red arrow is we're not doing well in comparison to last year. So how are we doing in English language arts? This is broken down by achievement. These are the percentage of students achievement performing at the level 3 or 4, broken down by each grade level. We can see in 3rd grade, for example, with the yellow arrow, that we are doing better than last year, but not in comparison to the pre-pandemic. 4th grade, we're doing better than pre-pandemic years. 7th and 5th grade. Yeah. So we're going to very low.
Right, no red arrows.
Then we look at the growth. We can see that we have many more students hitting their growth targets. And the reason why we don't see 3rd grade here is because 3rd grade is at least on the year. That 1st year will be a score. 4th grade is this is how the students met their target in 4.
This is a pretty significant jump. When you look at 4th grade, we were pretty long way actually by our 4th grade scores. And we start to kind of pull it off apart and wonder, many and we have some ideas, we're talking about things and what did we do really well? It's really to grow this. And it's a mixed bag. Some of it is achieving in the way that we first talk about really going back to basics, and we're starting to see we're using a lot of phonics and coding awareness, not playing younger grades, and starting to really, it started to play out. But other things that on Shaw's decision, we made a decision this year, or last year, to discontinue what we were calling like departmental, arrangement, configuration of the grade level, we used to have grade of Southwest and Southwest. Have spent half the day with one teacher and half the day with another, and teach two different groups of students, so one teacher is teaching math all day, and one teacher is teaching science and math. So the kids have two teachers, but we decided because of what they've been doing with COVID, we thought it was more important and bringing them back in person. Maybe it's a better idea, given some emotional things that were going on, behaviors, that we would have them just be without one teacher and have a class. Get to know one teacher, one kids. And so we wanted, did that. So there's a lot of ways that we look at it and.
I'm not going to share this. I believe that Mr. Kister required that number to be conducted. That's what the study, what is the barriers of the call correctly, one of those was technology. And post-pandemic, we were a one district, and now students have much more opportunity to practice those technological skills that they need in order to be successful on these tasks if online. Right. So that one of these models the most success.
Technical problem, but right, what's the interviewer? Not people experience, right?
And also these coaches and interventionists, I believe have really a profound impact on the students' growth as well. And so, you know, how seriously one we can see the part of each area. We'll see, for example, one is the area that performs all students, and then one B is the area that performs higher needs. And you see that all students and all students. So we need to look at what is the difference in performance between all of our students. All of our students and I can see the difference there between students who fall into the high needs category are younger members, our students with disabilities, and those who are eligible for the reduced lunch, versus those who are not having these students. And it's very different. We're really doing less that because we work hard with these students in school. So how are we doing in mathematics? We can see here, again, we're looking at last 3 years, comparing that to the prior 2021, and also the pandemic years in mathematics. We can see that we're not doing quite as well with the levels that we were prior to the pandemic. But we're supposed to grow in comparison to last year. The only very level that will focus on shares is the grades. However, if you look at their performance as second graders, you can see there wasn't much of a statistical change. So in seventh grade last year, we saw 16.3% of second graders, while on level 3 to 4. Last year, when we were 8th graders, assisting.
Right, these are on the system. There were a lot of work to do. And I'm not making excuses, but as we think about really why these numbers are the way they are, one of the things that struck us as we talked about this, we had significant staff issues. Incredible there were many families that was all so obviously that's not the way to teach that. We're not So, and that's just one very. Lot. We'll look at and.
We can see similar high levels of growth across the grade levels. And we did the charts. And we get a comparison of our students who are considered high needs versus those who are not. And we can then see the differences in performance. Are we doing the silence? The silence test is given in grades 5 and 8. I know that one. We can see here, these increases. For either during roughly the same or a bit better. And then 11th grade, you can see that students do not perform as well as 11th graders in that year. But we're equal with where we were in 2018. I'm going to turn over to you.
Okay, how are our English learners doing? So the last place is a test that is given every year to any student who has been identified as an English learner. And the scores, instead of level, there's scale scores, but there are levels 1 through 5. 1 being beginning to early intermediate, 3 intermediate, 4 proficient, and 5 above proficient. And so if you look at that bar graph, well, it looks certainly we have many at the beginning and early intermediate level last year, and the testing window is between January and March. We had a great number of newcomers getting in, so of course they're going to score beginning level. And then once they had reached proficiency in state mastery, which is a 4 or 5 overall score, but they must have a 4 or 5 in reading and writing. Once they reach mastery, they're no longer getting the last one. So what we're not going to continue to capture are high performing performers on this assessment. But I was excited by the state's accountability report come out. Really too excited about that. But the district report card, this year is the first year that progress toward English proficiency growth is counted. We're getting points for this. And so the speaking and listening test scores are combined with the oral score, and the reading and writing score are combined with the literacy score. And so you can see from this chart that so our growth rate in literacy was almost 35% and oral 32%. But again, as Andrew explained, the fact that we are looking at the average percentage of target achieved, because the target is being determined by the state with a formula and algorithm. I understand, but whatever their initial score is, they have 5 years, then it's the individual target each student is determined based on to be efficient in 5 years. And that's how that's determined. And so you can see that here to the state, we did else. I give up. I don't know whether that's significant. I don't know whether that's significant now. But it'll give us information to dive into and to continue to work from this year to next year. Graduation.
I think it is significant that maybe not statistically significant, but the fact that this is not happened to us before, where in so many categories we have actually performed above the state. So even if it's 10%, but we're gonna tear it up. And then we just want to show you on the last page, we took this in because I think this is what I'm most excited about. Ever since I came into this administration,
And, you know, every year when we collect this information and we'll have this line, right? And rank the alliance districts in terms of performance. And 5 years ago, Torrington was at the bottom of the book, every single time, closest to the bottom. And look where we are now. We are climbing our way to the top, folks. And if you look in 2 categories, so the third column over the ELA growth rate, we actually scored above the state. So trying to compete with the state of Connecticut, which includes, it includes all of the Durham A's, all of the Durham's, much more complicated, much more fighting. So this is just alliance. Yeah, so these are alliance, that's how they move some of the towns, so at the top of the entire state. But then so down, yes, you don't get where you reach that is. Oh, okay, yes, and then the column, for ELA, stands for the chief, that column, second column, the again, they have the state, not fun, but by notes that we were excited. So progress is being made, it's slow, but steady, and just as a quick aside, Andrew and I really the privilege of spending today in class groups at a primary level, participating in a really powerful experience, partnering on the know, sort of how we working to improve our instruction and growing literacy, and it was just I love the front. It was amazing, and watching and it just right. It was amazing. Wow, amazing. If there was some time for us to see the benefit of year after year, but it's working. We're all say the same thing. Got a lot of ways to get started.
We have a couple of minutes for questions. I'm going to start out with my question about the chart about the efficiency of our English language. The last column, efficient, that should be, the decimal point shouldn't be in front of 5.
Well, 5 or 5.
You know, and it's 5%, at least it would seem to be 5% just looking at the graph, rather than 1/2 of 1%.
I think the graph is not. I'm sure the graph is just here.
And there's no number in the intermediate, so you can't do it now. You know.
Yeah, 33 point.
Okay, yeah, like it.
I think when we had originally pulled it from Ed site, where we pulled it from DRC, it was that 0.5 was so small, right? Our form, right, our didn't show. So I think that's our one, yeah.
Rather than 5%, 1/2. Okay, so that band is just far too large. Okay, let's go around the table for questions. Do you want to get any questions?
Yes. Reading, yeah. And second, how will we determine our reduced lunch for kids now that the whole district is free lunch? Do we have a different way to assess that? Or so yes, we are not. I'm not even able to know. It's the only
Right, so we have data sometimes, so we have screening notes for our data information, and so we're still keeping track of where families are at in terms of, even though we are supporting every student with really reduced funding, but that is seen that those calculations still don't. So that is still important. But as Susan said, very confidential.
right, so we can't report it out to say that we have. Yeah, no, we can still tease it out.
Jess? I think I'm gonna put this on the agenda for next month, just in case we have questions that have not occurred to us. I thought about the fringes, one of the whole. Just because it's a bunch of numbers, that maybe when we look at it, and think about it.
Yeah.
Not occur to us.
The next question, it's good information. I'm just curious as to when you're following the grade level. For example, I'm looking at the deal. Average growth. When we get grade 4 for 27, 2018, the numbers going straight across the column for that grade for the year.
They're different kids.
Right, but we also look at cohorts. I don't know, we look at fourth graders who are then fifth graders who are then sixth graders. We do that.
Yeah, following that, I'm concerned with eighth or eighth year. Yeah, really, really have. Define. Bit of six. Get a city here.
This is about this. We have a little numbers in this.
Seventh grade is last year when the.
Yeah, those are diagonal.
But still from last year. Right, it was saying it's these are the numbers. So we have to wait and see.
Problem chart. It's a experimental location, different problem. Basically, the class for previous years are the numbers for the year that's. Right, so the
Yes.
7 to 18 numbers, they're increased based upon what the numbers of the kids in the year before.
So you go across, you will split that.
Right, so you're not really getting a true increase of what that class is.
But remember that we have pretty much mobility groups, so some of those students may come and go, and may not be the same students that we used last year. So you could do some of the diagonal, and we do, like Sue said, we compare those cohort scores, so you're right. But you also take that with a little bit of brain salt, and then remembering that there are years veterans in this particular chart.
Right, and I'm sticking a year.
Yep.
Trying to do this. 89, 90, 20s.
Other complications are that you have different people delivering, so you can't necessarily just blame it on the credit curriculum. Because as we heard last year in math, seventh grade has personnel sort of continuity.
And I'm listening to this particular slide as well. It's hard to recall, because it's quite understood that the 2020-21 school year served as a year based on the board of 2021-22 growth rates. So it's hard for the because that year prior to the last school year. But
Right, and if you think about it, that was also the year state. They released sports and then they pulled out the ball and then they put them back and so they weren't all that way.
Moving target.
Yeah, I would like to say, go back to graduation. How does he forming? How does the rest from K to 12? So there's just see grade 4 leader that different compared to. I want to see how that rest. Throughout the school.
Yes, and we definitely do that. We also, this is the way the state works out. So we share that with you both. We do exactly what you're saying, and we do share that. But really what, you know, the exception of what John said. If you look at this year after year, you're seeing that, you know, in fourth grade, sixth grade, every year consistently, you know, our forming in whatever. Why is we have to look right? That tells us more about what we're doing as adults too, and not necessarily about specific things. So there's a lot of different things to look at.
So,
Thanks. A couple of things. One, I'm wondering if we can, probably are doing it, to use the road rates to further identify tax students. Not sure if that's what we could do as far as the charts that we have. For your examples, and some kids get extra points, they score out or something. Are we doing anything with those things? Like we're identifying service style students based on these results to some extent, but we should probably also look at for the tax students.
Well, I do believe Laura uses not the program, but the proficiency that the student who reported about 4 that have. Because with the growth of every student, despite looking to around level 1 or level 4, every student is well counted. So a student would perform at a level 1 in 3rd grade, they get their growth target growth by 100 points. If that student growth by 200 points, that's a phenomenal growth. But they might just be making them level 2.
That doesn't mean.
And so they not.
measurement is,
Yeah.
anything else? Was it-
Yes, so obviously the number, we're looking at the charts and, the math numbers are a lot. And we've taken, we have these initiatives in place to new curriculum to help with the literacy department. Is there something similar out there we can do for now? You know, now that we're getting it, we're seeing out here, the literacy part, you know, now getting pushing mastering. Would be great to see the math numbers going in the direction, and is it something to do with the curriculum? Right, I think that could be something that's all. Do we have options when it comes to that? We have a model, it is resource. You know, resource very well. So I think we just have to take a look at how things are.
Math is commonly lower on tests.
We're all.
It's a university, but it's not common.
Yeah. And you know what's, this is a stuff with comments, but. Yeah, right, plays a big role in and out and ways. All this, there's very likely to that, and then the non-competition reader. So what we do that as we start to
And then on this week, but COVID showed that, and you know, when the students run to the and hold on to their skills pretty well. Math class initially, I was really good at math.
and dealing, you know, longer. I think it's university. It was always impossible to teach them. It's a two, right.
And to further that, parents had trouble teaching kids math the way they were being offered math. Curriculum. Wow.
Yeah.
So.
I
we
tried
did less.
to teach.
What's that?
Now, one more thing, I'm gonna reduce lunch. I'm just curious as to how that would look in I see high needs and everything. Special needs. I get part of it, I do get part of it, but not all of it. You know, we could look at, I'll use this almost available second one. If I didn't, you know, I was in our job, I had a, you know, what was that, put that into a category? I don't know, that, to me, that jumped out at how that group of kids also. And what actually, when you look at how needs, when you look at these suffering levels, you're looking at it from our SPED group and everything that's identified here, and normally be in education too, but for me, I was surprised to see that group of kids fall in that category. Just the maybe something to talk about.
No.
As well, but thank you for putting it together. Like to recognize there's one mention. And that
One
was
statutory. Yes.
Things were better this year than they have been. You know that too. Okay, moving on the agenda, system-wide focus areas, things engaging in differentiated instruction, targets.
And I think we're covered enough to for some of those things in months.
And as for the delegated student improvement committee board goals, anything mention there and questions? We just keep them here so we don't forget them. They're always good.
Right, you have a paper with the typical statistics that we get every month. I just want to mention what I found interesting was that check challenge and regulated competition. So, just really kind of season. Kind of an essay, video, drawing, creation contest. Open to students in the 12th grade. And I'm surprised this will really get $21,000 is a top class college scholarship to the college scholarship fund. Yes, $5,000 and it was just the kids were given the opportunity to submit and express their dreams for the future. And we have, you can see 1,307 people like the page. So hopefully we'll have
Yeah, so the Alliance is reflecting what our focus areas are, and then before that we our new Alliance rep with some state. It's really committed to coming to our schools, and Peter had the honor of having done like an hour before, and the Alliance rep coming. So we went to Cambridge, which we really want to see both schools that just see range in terms of east side, downtown, older building, newer building, and just what it's like to have all those students stay really in one building. It was very well away, just in terms of how well we the students were, how engaged the students were, the level of questioning even at K through 3. Really digging deep and really asking some tough questions to the students. Really trying to figure out the why and really that's something we can do. So it was very exciting. We were just randomly classroom to classroom. I'm sure that teachers knew that we were coming, but this is only essentially the first 30 days of school, and to really have that many structures in place, particularly with now the next year after the COVID onslaught and impact. Was very, very impressed. He was very impressed. And what has been happening with Alliance is that several folks at various levels and various programs have been tapped to present at various symposiums out the state because of all the things that are happening. You know, the students present. Joanne's meeting has to present on email, and it's happening in the district. And I told him that in October 13th, so a lot of unique interest folks are really excited about it, really looking forward to seeing supporting the this response. So, or to come.
Topics for future meetings, I have the usual suspects. We will be having school visits, Torrington School next time. So we have the school report there and follow-up questions on the OTL presentation tonight, and any other suggestions on this list or not?
Mentioned 2 months ago, you wanted to start looking at something being built. The curriculum, what was it you wanted to start with the bigger announcement? That was probably kind of the start and maybe it's not here. Okay, well, that's what happens. Do you want us to take action on that? Because that's just something we need to move it on our agenda and have actual action. Because I know what that means.
So, okay.
Figure out what we need to do.
So I know that it's all that consistent, but what else in the pathways? And is it just the pathways?
Analysis of needs, student activities.
5 years.
Issue. We're all getting this.
Well, maybe not, that's maybe.
But it's like, if there's something to talk about, put it on the agenda, then we'll see in the meantime. Figure out what exactly turn into. Anyone else have anything?
And two, one is the healthy and balanced living curriculum framework. I mentioned the last meeting we were at. Whether or not this is something that we are pursuing, that our administration is pursuing, and if so. And then another one, and I think hearing about the college fast challenge kind of got me thinking about this. I wonder if we ever look at how many of our kids go to a 4-year private college and then home school.
So you run.
How do we know that?
I don't know, maybe people start in that direction quite a bit, and so that's why I'm curious, I don't know fast. Going the fastest.
I don't know, why would we care? If they don't stay in school, not that I wouldn't care about, they're really graduating from college.
Well, we don't care because we're directing our energy towards the future. The kids are going to speak with it just like that.
I don't know whether somebody. Or I'll start digging into. It all.
We'll find out what the guys are doing then.
If it costs, yeah, but I mean, like, the verb machine, we're setting a lot of time. That's the things. We want to, there's the.
I don't know how many books we're doing this, but this is what I like, by students making personal finance requirement. And then making it research.
What's? Do they speak? So that's not community service, but part of the graduation requirement.
We'll talk about those.
And a whole list of things. You do.
Yeah, we could see. That's from the order. Yeah.
Thank you for hosting us.
Could be anything that's for this.
The other end. John, anything you want to say? How much we going to be? I'll skip all the. They're gonna be again, next.
Great.
I'm the nerds, so I go down to the church. I'm having myself, I'm making it, you know, it's like, most importantly, it's so exciting to see our students popularly more successful.
Pack up and name for the order.
No, it's great. We have, I'm extremely proud of our school. Everybody here, see the one.
Thank you.
Marissa? So,
Awesome job, you know, thank you so much.
and the vote. Thank you all. And I'm going to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Adjourn.
Make a motion to approve the agenda. Second. Yes. Favor. Approval of minutes. No. Yes. Participation, is there any public online?
No.
Discussion next steps. School part of the interpretations. This is the carry over from one. And we did send those out to the bus and we sent to the attorneys and you can see their considering when I don't know why I'm with the free. It's a huge thing. As well as this. These are the things we talked about last meeting and we send it off to the attorney and then they have. I'm sorry you didn't have a school staff in front of us today. Oh, that will proceed as well as will be our animal model and change the basis for. Yeah, this is your year. Some change, right? Especially in school. Exactly. Yeah, right.
So where are we at right now? Versus fire, the parking space. towards and how we confirm part of the
What I know from Mr. Scott as of today is there are 10 available students.
out.
Right, but I'm not really claiming it's five.
That was the original, actually, that was the original number we didn't need as in, so I want to speak out of turn.
And if I recall, student parking is basically along the woods and small lot. Correct, that's all, that's student parking.
That whole part that is mostly along the woods.
Yeah.
And then really it just goes to the wooded, that line against the woods, not so much all of those parking spaces that are close to the little theater, because most of that is.
This is for my own assessment. You guys, and in that said parking area, there's on average 40 parking spots. Early morning.
Right, so staff come and go, especially at the high school, we have some people who are at other sites, so they will come and go for teas, come and go for services, translators, central office, just a variety of different folks. Morning cafeteria people are community cafeteria. Just a lot of different folks coming, especially the high school news, more of us.
So also, recommended revisions. And actually, the attorney.
Number 12 was, I think, the one that we had asked the question on, which was about how we report the rest of the conviction, and the attorney did say that this was a legally sound way to report it, which I think is what the board had expressed. Interest in with the outcome to the court and the rest of the conviction, and our attorney did say that's fine.
Yeah, number two, so maybe academics and social the whole value of all of the actions. What do we mean by social motion? So this is for individual staff. Right, well, this is the way I understand it, is all staff members who are assigned this rather than citizens.
So you have a small farm, commit to having all the decision made, there's even from that, based on the well-being. So I think, last time, the committee wanted, I think it just said well-being last time, it didn't say academic decision. That's when it's. No, we're asked. Yeah, I don't think we put that in there. I think we just, John. That the one with the justice one.
Well, my concern with number two is really impact.
Yeah. So that would be made in this. Number one is justice. Number one was maintain the courteous and just. We want to spread the courteous. Yeah, I'm just concerned, I don't think that's easy to find. And if it's something that we are asking our employees to do. I think there's different opinions on what is most supportive of the child's emotional and social development in different situations. I don't know, social emotional categories in everything, and I'm a little concerned that it means something other than what we think it is. Or it could be this.
So I think it's Susan's example, you can see where social emotional and academic are fused, because that was social emotional because you were really worried about this being out of COVID and needing that stability, but that is also, I just saw from the data, really impacted the academics. So the students were able to really achieve at a better level. So very often they're fused, and it's very hard to tease it out. So I think putting them both together is making sure that everything is fine.
And it wasn't like before we had SEL, we never could be on children's paths anyway, that considered everybody well-being. Right, we have our, we have. That's always. Well, I think it had other. SEL is. So I can find whether there's a difference between social emotional that makes something that a little bit more easily nailed down to us.
I feel like when you're social emotional for 31 years, it's just now you've attached everything else to it, that people are like getting more into what things are. I mean, I think social emotional always just been a whole child, making sure that they're making friends socially, emotionally, the things that, you know, they're progressing, you know, wasn't, it was just, we want to make sure that they're academically safe, that they're academically challenged, socially, emotionally safe. I don't think that's how I look at this. I don't know how to take posts to see how it's you know, something that was a little bit worse for children. It's more just making sure that the whole child is being.
So people say, some people and it's very controversial and convenes very specific situations and it's
An example of someone I don't know, I sit very technically. So give me an example of why that is concerning to you.
there are situations where they, where staff can be anonymous to parents as far as what we can do to success with the child. And so we don't want people sometimes speak that direction.
But this isn't talking about court, this is
Talking
talking
about
about academic and social emotional well-being of
students, social emotional that further
But it's not social emotional learning, it's
academic and social emotional well-being.
It doesn't say learn the whole child.
Right, but some people don't even afraid of that, it's not, we don't see that. We don't know people talking to us that, like, how is your job doing this? Right, it's academic plus.
But I don't know, someone say, I don't know.
No.
For academic.
Well, that's- It might be, like, diversity. Those words in different, right, I mean, it's specific. And when you are ready. Debate it more down.
I just wanted to remind you that the statutory social emotional well-being is part of the teacher's code of conduct and will be part of their evaluation plan next year. So whether you like the word or phrase or not, it's going to be statutory. For
Can you say that?
statutorily, social emotional well-being and everybody that, you know, is part of the teacher evaluation process, what do you say? That has been part of the educator evaluation process and is going to be part of the guidelines, and it is part of their code of conduct that we talked about last time. Teachers are responsible, part of the professional code of conduct that the teachers are responsible for. So it is a phrase that is aligned with what's in the statute. So that's all.
It is a charge where we say, like, suggest one has to be department. We use the word racial 30 years ago as well. They, that word is truly taking a different direction. So I really think maybe considering the times that we're in right now, the way people take words out of context and whatnot, you know, maybe it could be considered just softening it a little bit. Go either way. I don't think people are actually going to read this. I don't know, but I mean, it is a charge.
And the problem becomes that when you get to the bottom of it, violation of this policy may result in disciplinary action up to and including termination. One. You know, that's phrase weren't in there, and there was a problem. Should that have a number right away? Violations in the section.
That's not one of the components of policies, consequence for that.
It's a warning to the people that are told why.
Well, I mean, all of our personnel is something. So this does not take away from their rights. I think this with many other things, we could call it something different. But really what this is saying is, we have that. And then we did about when we had a previous version. You know, our staff has to, they want to know something outside of school, but it's important to understand the specific situation. Understand how they're going to react today, how they're going to be. The example I'm going to use is the moment that we have a question in high school. Showed up at the school, his mother had already hours to do it, but it didn't. Someone needs to know. Like that was performance right? You just show up in the moment. So maybe you can math, maybe yeah. So we do have to look at the student, whether we want to or not. We really want to look at maybe each one of these. So I don't know if we call them buzz phrases or marketing for hours about it. It's just that the criteria for well, yeah, expectations. So I don't get wrong. I don't mind the word change, but we need to debate this for hours of philosophical beliefs. I think it's ridiculous.
Unfortunately, that's. I don't disagree with the intent, but I don't disagree. My concern is only.
I don't like the tables. Yes. I haven't been able to get the terminology and the other documents that are this and use of technology devices with tools. But there's, I'm getting my, I don't know, because we're now on the policy that's a lot of devices. It also is known that we're not allowing kids to bring their own devices, right? Right, so we have a policy that says that governments do use of that is also. So we looked at the policy and we told the language, I have policy as an advice to cell phones. And how to build a cell phone. We really no longer do that. So what you're looking at, actually what we did is just writing out ways about devices and it makes sense. This is going to be in the process. Right, and one in the back one is the current one that we built all the time. Language. For the other language,
I think I asked her before, like, if you take something that's, you can modify it. If you do this in document and mark up your change, it's easier for us to see what's changed instead of trying to read one.
You know, I don't know what you're saying, but it's a different policy altogether. So what is federal policy? So the first paragraph. Statement. Yeah. There is a statement, but it's related to songs, right? The definition of the second paragraph of definition, because you don't need to define private technology devices any longer. This is not correct. Our committee has this is probably being narrowed. Exactly. Right, right, it's essentially so the first sentence is devices and stuff. The use of. They're not allowed to be used. In cell phones.
You didn't narrow it down to cell phone, and include the accessory to go with. Earpods, watches, everything else. Correct. I'm not using my cell phone, I'm just listening to my ear. I'm not texting anybody, I'm just looking at my watch. So the use of private technology devices is in a way a little bit more fitting than just narrowing it down to cell phone, because nowadays a cell phone talks about many other things. So it's just my opinion.
Did you read the first one?
So the use of privately owned technological devices is not permitted on school property. Joining public schools, includes all students with the devices needed to be successful in a 21st century environment. Students may bring privately owned cell phones to school with them, subject to the following conditions.
What do you have?
So no other private technology, they can bring cell phones under these conditions, but no other private, that's how I read it, no other privately owned technological devices. These questions, they're questions.
Well, then that contradicts the first sentence. The use of property. Now, maybe it's something that out here.
Right.
They can
So we can break them, we can use them, but then the last sentence here, that's not break.
No, it's not that they bring them.
Last, it says they may bring privately owned cell phones. But they're subject to the following conditions.
What about the watch piece? I mean, now I'm just wondering about that as I love to.
Right, so I believe you see how they do like that and where. So. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, you
So build that.
get your phone in your bag and you're still listening to the music.
Yeah.
Go get your text and watch. You know, so it's just to narrow down the term cell phone.
If there's someone.
Someone will take that out of that.
If there's a legal policy, it's iPads. Tablets. And then. Watches. That we also see part of it. Right, so that was, are those in this new policy?
I was just gonna suggest maybe that definition of private home technology, but it should go back into the policy, and then it should say cell phones may be brought, all other privately owned devices are prohibited, period. And then that would be fine what those devices are, and you're saying a cell phone's allowed under these conditions, and you've outlined what those conditions are, every other form is prohibited.
So that's what we got the sexual thought. It's a well checked. Okay.
That's
Right. Right. The first sentence. Is that meant to encompass all the things, and then there are all the things that need to be listed somewhere? Well, that was, that was the thought. Yes.
So maybe just like.
But it seems like very, well, we suggested, I think we probably, yeah, because that's where we're gonna come to, so, and to see that we mentioned. Yeah, we could add that. You know, rather than use of private and technological devices not permitted, private and technological devices are provided. Yes.
Yeah. I think we can.
Is that what?
That's so we're getting the watch system. And we get it,
Yes.
But then there was some problems.
Yeah, that's for something. Use some.
That's why they have a big conscious.
That's right.
Right, so it says, right, but we're saying anything in grammar. Right, so that's a little bit, one thing goes for couch, oh, they don't put the couch, you can do that one on, so probably one in. But we said that use some.
You can bring it, but you can't use. Right. So then maybe this is just students may bring privately owned cell phones or wearable technology to school again, subject to the following conditions. Does that work?
No, just with the baby, we were telling them that we would break them all up. So all of the rights of the house. The case of the dog.
Right, and so they're encouraged not to do much, because there is that possibility of being careful of putting in. So they would talk to the students about how to do that, but many students are just, not wearing whatever it is.
I just don't want to make it appear, for example, it's fine. But don't worry. You will tell them, she goes to us, grab the bubble wrap, they. Get it all about that. I don't want to start with the problem, but it's okay, because you have to watch it in there.
I don't see why, but I think we're talking to school, they can see it. And then.
So maybe when the page 2 of the D responsibility of the someone's maybe say responsibility of someone to love the notable devices. Because it says if anything is stolen or damaged, it's the responsibility of the student. So maybe that's. The second sentence. The cell phone and or underwear.
Yeah, those are the words.
Yeah.
Cell phones in the rule underneath mentions to your technologies.
Yeah. Right, I was saying. Right.
There it's there, and I don't know if we need it up. You know, I don't want to think it's that's.
Yeah,
Well, they took that into a bathroom stuff, but,
Right, right.
and that was the part of.
right.
But do we need it up then?
I don't think we need it for.
Wow, that was so.
And then there are shared devices.
Shared important for you.
And we have the idea.
So maybe we should have everywhere. So maybe everywhere.
Well, I think this, you guys just want
So E. After 4, 2 asterisks next. Paragraph. Yeah, like, when people, here's a piece of for cell phone violations.
So where's like for what points?
Keep going down, the paragraph right before that.
Any of that?
Yeah. Fourth line. So the administration will be able to find the power to take these self violations. It will be a community awesome.
Actually, everything.
Everywhere is a cell phone. So should the policy be cell phone?
If you go back, all of the private technological devices, which
Is there a reason why you guys wanted to get that out? Maybe have a better understanding of why it's changing.
because it really feel the intent of that policy is about iPads and laptops of their own people. It's more about computers and stuff.
Right, clearly defined what the properly economic device was.
Right, that's before there were one-to-one devices. That's where this. That's where it keeps going to bring the computers. Right. Because they would bring their phones.
That's why we put this definition.
Right. That's what we're doing. That's really what it's all about, because now the only thing you need to their there's a piece of technology they offer is their phone or some accessory to them. There are different policies, some are just simple, they can't remove. Now, when you agree. So that confirms the status of this, using private devices, when you cover that. You know, you can't bring it up. That's. It's important to look at where they're launching.
I had one where it's pretty cool.
So they can't wear it, so it would only be their having on their bodies and their breaths.
Right, so there's the headphones that they can plug into their computers so that they can listen to something. Those are cheapo headphones to distinguish between, you know, these really highly sophisticated and you can link in everything. So it's just so that they can listen to a lesson or you know, listen to for a language lesson. It's germane to whatever instruction is going on. That's very different than every girl. Well, watches. There might be. The decision is not paper and we could sell where they're watching this American using. So the violation would be using, just like the violation would be used in the phone. They have to put their watches in the. If it's like an Apple Watch, then they have to put it in where it gets. So you could say they can't bring one, and that's just another. Argument about it. So hopefully this is somewhere, or if they're wearing them, and then we put them out. Because some of the students may be staying at the school or whatever, and they want that access before school or after school.
What if we just have the policy? Like my concern is like the old one specified, so iPads, that, but now. Bringing that mini use that extra funds, right? So, and I'm not saying like, yes, it should theoretically be covered in this first sentence, but. Maybe we should say the use, there's a difference between the use and possession, right? So that's the other thing, is what if we did have, get another iPad, just backpack. And he doesn't take it out to use it, someone who sees it is going to be helpful for that. You know what I'm saying, like the same thing, I mean, it can just get back. So maybe you could just say the use of privately technological devices. This includes the phone. And then, but we can keep the whole policy and talk about how the old policy is starting to power. That, an item, and it's not listed with a screen under 11 inches in size, which a lot of laptops are 11 inches in size. So I don't know. Specifically rules out the sidewalk, you know. So maybe we just put in this first sentence on this new policy, this includes laptops, iPod, wearable technology, whatever.
You can put 30 on the.
Exactly. Yeah.
Let's take this out.
A lot of people have lots of fingers. So.
I mean, just a sentence, just like take this. Would that just-
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think I think it has.
yeah.
But I would
So
say
your point, you said the device. The lease agreement also has verbiage relating to that using other property as well. Like loan agreement.
good question. I believe that says privately owned laptops. They don't, it doesn't say where. Because.
We're signing a loan agreement for a device.
Right.
Institutions.
Yes, no, I totally agree with you.
But the loan agreements.
It's our agreement and it's just a reminder to them, you can't bring your device, you have to use ours. So basically, it helps.
You have to use ours.
Every vision that came out.
You have to start, that's the last line.
It's really about treating the power. Writing that.
Yeah, which is the impact.
Right.
Of a device loan.
Right.
But when you start putting, referencing policy or rules or terminology of another policy, we gotta make sure that they're the same. Or just reference policy. Don't be specific on a loan agreement, you just reference the policy.
Is we probably want to go back. The definition, second paragraph, we have in. Anywhere that it says cell phone and other wearable technology. And add other wearable technology in the second paragraph. Is that what I mean? Satisfying. No. No, that's. That's. back to us. Or the work.
I mean, you're good at just revising the resolutions out.
Yeah, brings me one of those.
Make it bigger and comfortable. I don't want to make it fall.
You say tablets for laptops, tablets and laptops. Any.
Sometimes less more.
Okay, so we just get that dimension out.
Yeah.
I think we, these are dimension was specifically geared towards where.
No, to have an interview.
Yeah. Screens, which I was showing up in different columns, they feel like the laptops.
Right.
Some.
All such items, the internet accounts, it's not.
Well,
And
this is when Daniel was on the board, and he did the one issues. He specifically wanted one issues. It was, at that point about.
What year was this?
Yeah. Oh, Lord. Right along, targets for future meeting. We'll be continuing with our crosswalk, and we're on.
so we be on series 4,000.
Yeah, I don't know. Velocity, I don't know if yeah, I can give them policy, we have to do. Text the options, functional materials, and then the policy is really just to. 6,000 series.
Oh, so that's and that is-
I don't see, yeah.
What are the topics? Like those kind of things, where the letters are not necessarily hard.
And it's just what's the time of the policy and that's the. 60, 58, and 60, 59, and actual instructional materials. So we'll be doing that. For 5 minutes.
Student privacy and information administration.
That's not.
So, well, he goes in the first 5 months. So how long would it take us to do policies? How many do we have in the board absence?
Also, our plan has been to only look at which policies we did not have.
Right.
And recommend.
Yeah.
And so that's what we've been doing for the first 3 series, so from 4, 5, and 6, we got to do that. And then we were gonna circle back to going in and looking at the other policies, unless something really came up. That was the original plan.
So covers are staff. Five is administration. And then 6 is student.
5,000 students. Right?
Right, 6 students.
5,000 students. Right? We adjusted it to be the same as every other 5,000. Yeah.
Okay, so 5 students. Yeah, and then
Instruction 6,000. Yeah, there's 2 policies in the 4,000 series. And there are 5,000 series, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But many of them are policies that we are doing it already, we start a policy. And then instruction had 4 policies.
that probably instead of starting with 1,000 for. What do you decide on?
Okay, whatever you said, but I wouldn't think your question is how many meetings we close it down to.
Yeah. I get it from one person, I don't think it is. This issue is probably. The issue is that they're just going to see that. And once you follow the materials sometimes, you still get maybe something that we want to do. We have a conversation about. Continuing on, we'll discuss. Yeah, I mean, right now, we said, if something comes up, we talk about it, we talk about the second, we fall down to. Crosswalk is what we're doing, and anything to needs immediate attention, constantly like this. Crosswalk is what we're doing. Oh, sorry.
We have a meeting that we're gonna do this as, and then it was policy. We were talking about donations, naming rooms and things like that. That's ever been finalized, or that's still a need.
It's still in corporation council and city hall. It's funny, you should bring it up.
And it's strictly a city hall thing.
At this point, it's still with the city hall. The message that I received, the most recent message like that, because of the city owned buildings, the city will be part of the city. Because the corporation council was asked to reveal the bylaws from the county. So they're turning the facility to rent. And I just don't have my own. Yeah.
We do the building committee, everything that we have to do. You have that package probably later. And I think some said equipment of people will be donated by not as person, you probably something they were to have any chance to get their wishes. Would have to be done before that have to be back in the important.
I don't know. I had a conversation a couple of minutes ago.
So it really has nothing to do with us, right?
Correct.
No. Nothing yet. We make it.
I want to remind us all that we are building a new high school, middle school, and administrative complex. And this building in turn has served as the high school at the time, included the administrative offices, and then later as we call it junior high school. The building is still there.
It's just over.
A lot of build things back. That we really
When I was with people, I'm coming to these, I always did with the dress code. So on that. For that.
And it's funny that we see that. The results of the staff. So that. Kind of. You know. It's something. All of that. The staff wants to.
That I just repeated what I said in the previous meeting, that Adams.
I think we did.
No, just, they just went on.